64 Tacos Podcasts presents Is This Song Good? This is episode 5. Saint Vincent, Pay Your Way in Pain.
All right, so we're back with another Is This Song Good podcast. This time we're doing a song I selected. It's Saint Vincent, Pay Your Way in Pain. It's I think her album just came out this week. I think it's the first single off of. And yeah, I heard it and I thought it was really interesting. So I thought I would find out what you guys thought about it.
Yeah, well, when I heard it, at first I thought you had picked a Prince song.
Because I was wondering if that's exactly what you would
think. That was my very first thought. And I got stuck there, if I'm being honest. Like I just kept thinking, oh, this is a really neat, Prince cover or new Prince song that, they uncovered somewhere. But yeah, that's not a bad thing at all to be mistaken for Prince. Obviously the voice is different, but yeah, it definitely had that feel to it.
So okay, cool. Well, what did you think, Zach?
Yeah, so I've always liked Saint Vincent, but there are times when I really like the music, and there are times where it's just kind of like, it's all right. And this is one of those times. I enjoy the song, and I've listened to the new album as well, but it doesn't really grab me in the way that some of her music does. And I can't quite put my finger on it. I mean, I really like certain parts of it. I like the what do you want? What do you want? The kind of really high thing that she does with her voice. But I think overall it just sort of like a meh song for me.
All right. Yeah, what I like about the song, why I chose it when I listened to it was I like the sort of it is like a sort of it's almost like a slightly sleazy sounding funk song, which is why Prince came to mind when I was listening to it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the sort of like how it was like dense, like there was a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on that it's hard to sort of like lock all into the first time you hear it. So
right.
After about the third time I heard it, I was like, man, this is really interesting because there's a lot of sort of like overdubs and sort of, it's almost like, it always felt like it was intentionally like on the edge of control. Like that's what I thought was cool about it. And she does some really cool, like vocal stuff too. Like, especially like the big long kind of note at the end that she sort of holds out and then the music cuts out and then the song kind of finishes up. But yeah, I've every time I've heard Saint Vincent, I've been intrigued, but I've never really dove into her stuff. So I don't really have a ton to compare it to. She's a really good musician and she's a really good guitar player and a good singer. And I find everything she does interesting, but I never really fall in love with it, if that makes any sense. Like it doesn't really like make me love the song, but I always find it fascinating. So I was interested to see what you guys thought.
Yeah.
I find the song fascinating. I quite like it. I don't know if I love it. I think it's a little, I don't know, in a way it's not distinctively like a Saint Vincent sounding song, probably because it was an effort to be kind of like, a funk song, maybe like a Prince, inspired song. But there's a lot of her personality in the way she sings it too, I think. So
yeah,
I don't know. So maybe you could say that it is sort of her take on that, but I just thought it was really interesting. I'm not sure that it's going to make me like go, get a bunch of Saint Vincent stuff. Cause every time I hear it, I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. It's really distinctive, but I still haven't like decided that I really like Saint Vincent,
Yeah. Well, and like I said, it's really a lot of times her music is hit or miss. I mean, she did a cool album with David Byrne, and that's got some pretty cool songs on it. Some of her earlier stuff, the production is amazing on it by this guy named John Congleton. He's been producing sort of indie rock music for a while, and he's got a like there's nothing particularly unique. It's just like it's Yeah, like he really knows how to get the instruments and the voices to sound great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of the songs on her earlier albums are like, oh yeah, that's really great. And then other ones, it's like all these people are talking about it like it's the best song in the world. And I listen to it, I'm like, it's okay. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad song. It's just just doesn't do it doesn't do something same things for me as it does for other people, and that's fine, you know.
Well, it's a little hipster bait, and I think it kind of always has. Like it's definitely pitchfork ready,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
music. And that's how I've always felt about St. Vincent. Like I read about the David Byrne collaboration. It's like, okay, David Byrne, all right, well that should be interesting. And you know, I listened to a few songs. I was like, that's cool, you know, like. And every time that a new album comes out, I don't know, I'm kind of fascinated by her without like ever really sort of becoming a fan. I think it's interesting also that she was in the Polyphonic Spree for a little bit. And then also toured with Sufjan Stevens, like a year or something, which it's just all really interesting. And then like, I don't know, it just feels like New York hipster music, which is a bit hit or miss for me. But I don't know. I always, whenever I hear a new song or of a new song by her, I'm like, I got to listen to this and see what I think. And I'm always interested and fascinated, but I just thought this one was cool because it had so much sort of stuff going on, you know. If it was a Prince song, there would have been, I think, a little less messiness as far as the production.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think that's what makes it sort of worth doing, is sort of like, you know, Purple Rain era Prince song is, you know, is doing it slightly more, you know, your way. And I think she manages to do that at least.
Yeah, I don't think, I certainly don't know that if I've ever heard any St. Vincent songs, you know, not by name. So I don't have any reference as far as that's concerned. But it was a pleasant song to listen to. I enjoyed it. If for nothing else, just that there's someone who's making songs that sound, it's kind of like Greta Van Fleet to Led Zeppelin for me. If I'm being honest, I don't need to listen to Greta Van Fleet, but it is kind of neat that they're making Zeppelin-esque music, because I love Zeppelin, and it's always fun to have more in that realm, even though I'm always going to go back to the Led Zeppelin.
The original. And the thing that's interesting about Greta Van Fleet is they're doing such a dead-on like cover version as a band, like a, you know, but like with like, and that first like single or two, I was like, wow, this is almost indistinguishable from Led Zeppelin. Like if you told me this was a Led Zeppelin song, I wouldn't be able to say no. Like this is not. But I think they've sort of shown the fact that they're a one-hit or a one-trick pony, I guess. Because it was kind of like, okay, great, Greta Van Fleet. Wow, this is really like, you know, Zeppelin-y. Okay, now what will they do next? Well, it turns out they're just going to do like lamer versions of Zeppelin ripoffs.
Yeah, they're gonna do Zeppelin covers that Zeppelin didn't write.
Yeah, and just sort of I don't know. They seem like weirdly obsessed and about a band that, you know, they weren't around for, which is, you know, fine. I mean, you can like old music, but it would be nice if you did something different or evolved. But I do feel like St. Vincent at least does a bunch of different things and is always kind of trying new sort of things and approaches, at the very least, from what I can tell.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
Maybe a little pretentious sometimes, I'll give you, but you know, that's as much about the people that talk about it or are into it as it is the actual music, you know.
Cool. Well, do we want to have a little vote here on whether this song is good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to vote yes. I thought it was a good song.
Yeah, I'll vote yes too. I liked it.
I will also vote yes, because even though it's not, you know, like the best song in the world, I would still happily go back and listen to it over, you know, some other piece of garbage.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I will listen to St. Vincent over Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah. All right. So I think, well, I would like to think. Well, actually, I think the numbers, the sales numbers, tell you that the opposite is true for the world at large. But yeah, definitely for me, I agree. Okay, so I just want to mention the next one coming up is going to be Zach's selection. That is "Have a Nice Life." I Don't Love. I think
that's
right?
Correct. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, we'll talk about that next time and see if that song is also good.
All right.
All right.
I caught it on audio.